Chris Bowden, enough. Enough, Chris Bowden.
You can have it all, everything you want and more. But you have to want it enough. Contest chair, my friends, this message fuels our world. Get more, have more, do more, be more. What's wrong with that? Who doesn't want a bit more, right? Better phone, better clothes, better job, more money. That's where it's at. You ever stop to consider, though, if we always want a bit more, where does it end? Let me share my story. I grew up in a fairly typical working class household in Australia. 4 kids, dad's a skilled labourer, mum worked multiple part-time jobs to keep food on the table. So money was always an issue. My childhood was spent in hand-me-down clothes from my big brothers, and we ate supermarket brand food and took holidays in tents, not in hotels. But it was okay. Mum and dad would squirrel a little bit away for a few luxuries, and mum said, Chris, there's no point having money if you're not going to spend it. And I thought, oh, that's why we don't have any. And I would hear that, but I would also see at the end of the month, my parents sitting at the dining table, paying the bills, balancing the checkbook, and I saw how stressful that was. And I think when you're a child, you tend to absorb these things. And I took that in. But I was lucky, I got good grades, I went to university and I became a penniless student, scavenging drinks wherever I could and living off instant noodles and the cheapest clothes I could get. Sure, there were lots of things I wanted to have and to do. I wanted a cool car. I wanted to take the fancy holidays some of my friends took, but that was for people with money. I'll do that later, when I have more. And I graduated, I got a job with a salary. Yes, now I can buy things. Oh, wow. Things are really expensive. Have you noticed that things are really expensive? That's a cool jacket. I will get the cheap one. I'll get that one later, when I've got a bit more. And so it went. Engineering was good to me. My salary went up and my lifestyle kind of didn't. Because it was always, oh, that's nice. I'll get the cheap one. I'll get that later when I've got a bit more. And that was clothes and cars and holidays and gifts for my girlfriend. I moved to the UK. I got a really good job and nothing changed. It was always cheap, 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 and cheap. Yeah. It's like there was just something. I recently read an obituary, and it was written 2 decades ago by the author Kurt Vonnegut about his friend Joseph Heller. Joseph Heller wrote Catch-22, one of the great novels of the 20th century, and he tells the story of them at a party thrown by a gazillionaire hedge fund manager. And Kurt Vonnegut said to Joseph Heller, he said, Joseph, how do you feel knowing that just today our host has probably made more money than you did of the whole history of Catch-22? And Joseph Heller said, I'm not concerned. I have something he'll never have. What's that? I have enough. Boy, that resonated so deeply with me, because no matter how much I had, it never feels like enough. No matter how much more I have from where I started, it's still not enough. There's still, I need more, and then I'll be okay. Then I'll be safe. Because there's a part of me still stuck, sitting at the dining table with my parents, watching them do the bills, thinking this is never going to happen to me, which is so ridiculous, because they raise 4 children on less than I make now. maybe you know this feeling. This feeling of I just need a little bit more. What I have is just not quite enough. I just need a little bit more, and then I'll get going. And it could be money, it could be prestige, it could be beauty, it could be fitness. It's that little bit we just, oh, I'm just not quite there yet. And I used to think this was just people like me who grew up working class and carry that with them, but I see it everywhere. I look around, I see billionaires who still act like they cannot ever have enough, and they always want more. And I remember Mum saying, Chris, there's no point having money if you're not going to spend it. And I'm starting to think she was right. If I look a bit tired, it's because yesterday I landed back in the UK from a trip to Australia, which I took largely because my wife kept saying to me, Chris, would you stop obsessing about the money and go and see your family? And of course she was right, because it's been a really long couple of years when your loved ones are on the other side of the world. Here's the unpopular truth. We can't have everything we want. And that's good. That is good. Because if we can start to let go of this feeling of, I just need a bit more. I just need a little bit more, and then if we can do that, we can have something that is so much better. We can have enough. Contest chair.